So here we have the lovely Katherine Bennett, who we all know. If we're Catholic, we'll know from Catholic and Unscripted. Hello, Katherine.
Hello, Caroline. Nice to see you.
And you. So, what's brought you out today?
Well, I'm here again just a few weeks after being at Parliament for the discussion around the assisted suicide debate, and we're here again dealing with a culture that is trying to push death. MPs that are trying to push this abortion up to and including birth. And it's all under the guise of being compassionate, being caring, being kind, being nice. And unfortunately, I think that is appealing to a lot of people, such is the culture that we live in. But let's not forget, we're talking about the right, the human right, to kill an unborn child up to and including birth.
It is simply unthinkable, isn't it? And one of the things I was musing on earlier was I believe that the pro-abortion activists have been trying to manufacture a crisis. So just as they took advantage in the 50s and 60s of women having illegal abortions, they're trying to push that same tired line, aren't they? Well, we need to protect women.
Yeah, well, this is happening and it is ideological. So what we have is Stella Creasy going to Northern Ireland, pushing for further rights, going over and past where Britain is, where the UK is. I'm going to upset people by my descriptions of England, Wales, Scotland and Britain. Pushing past and then coming back to the UK and saying, well, look, women, you don't have as much rights as those women in Northern Ireland, who she had already pushed further with her ideological bent. And so now we're told, well, you need to be able to have to remove any criminalisation around abortion. During COVID, we had the pills by post, which meant that women were able to apply for pills to take to induce an abortion, and there were limits, 10 weeks I think it was, but of course there are no safeguards and no checks, so like all these things, it can be abused, and when it's abused, women's lives are in danger, the baby, obviously the infant dies, and that is then used to push for this law to decriminalise abortion up to birth, because we're told, look, women are going to do this, they're going to take these pills anyway, it's going to be unsafe. It's the same argument we had in the 60s of backstreet abortions. Isn't it safer to bring it into a medical setting and it will be safe, legal and rare and wonderful, and everyone is very kind and compassionate. Fast forward decades and what do we have? 10 million and more infants killed. And let's be honest, by far and away these infants in the womb are killed for reasons of convenience, far and away. So people will always use those tough cases, those hard cases of rape, and say we have to allow this because of these cases. But those cases do not make up the vast number of unborn killed.
And bear in mind, of course, that we already have abortion up until birth for those with disabilities. And people again tend to catastrophise and say, well, this is children with the very worst disabilities. But in fact, clubfoot, Down syndrome, cleft palate, these all count as serious abnormalities. And I, as a mother of children who have autism, I really worry about the fact that they're now saying that they can identify a genetic component to autism. So how long before autism gets thrown into the mix and someone finds out quite late in pregnancy that their child's going to be born with autism and decides, well, that's not for me?
Yeah, I mean, this is the reality of what is happening, and I don't think most people realise that that's the direction of travel. The direction of travel is towards a society, towards a culture that does not value human life. And this is happening at the same time as we're saying, you know, we've got to be inclusive and caring and compassionate. Well, but our laws are not achieving that. They're achieving the very opposite. Because once you say, well, cleft palate, some disability, some as yet unidentified abnormality, well, we don't want to do, we want to do away with that. Come on, let's shoo that out the way. And at the end of life, aren't you awkward with your old, smelly, difficult, complicated health issue? And isn't it costly? Let's shoo you out of the way. And before you know it, what kind of society are we? How do we grow those virtues of compassion, of love, of caring, of kindness? You can't grow those virtues without people to care for, without people to be compassionate to. We all need that. We all need that love. and that care and that compassion. We don't do it by eradicating people. And this is a programme of eugenics, euthanasia. We all know who's associated with those kind of things.
Well, yes. And to me, I think it's very stark. I've said this before, that where we have a newborn infant, there is going to be the body of a newborn infant. So are the police going to just simply ignore it? Are we saying, okay, it's just... Well, effectively, what this law will do is say, we've got an infant, we've got a baby who's been killed, we're not going to investigate this any further. Whatever's happened, yeah, it's the mother's decision. She took the decision that her child should no longer live, so that's that. I mean, that is simply unthinkable. If we find a body of a baby somewhere, we don't just say, oh, let's turn a blind eye, oh, it was the right call. But effectively, that's what this law will do.
Yeah, it's removing murder as crime. So I wonder what will happen to the when when a mother's killed when she's pregnant, when she's murdered, it's counted as a double murder. One wonders what will happen that. Yes, it's removing murder and just saying we'll decriminalise completely. This is no longer a crime.
Katherine, let's just pray that we show that we are a civilised society today, that MPs do the right thing. And my message is, if your MP does not do the right thing, hold them accountable. They're your voice. If you are not calling for this, if you're not sanctioning it, then do not allow your MP with getting away with this either. This was not on a single party manifesto. This was not set out anywhere, and it has just been shoehorned in. It is unacceptable. This is not what we have voted for. Please hold your MPs accountable. It's not too late today to tag them on social media and get them to pledge that they're going to vote no. And if they do vote for this bill, let them know how unhappy you are, and do not trust them with your vote ever again.